Tonight, the latest on the Skills Development Fund scandal as the province sues the company at the center of it all. A slushy start to the weekend with strong winds picking up and drivers being asked to slow down. Plus, struggling to find a wide enough groove on Grove Avenue. Safety concerns raised over narrowing streets caused by snowbanks and parked cars. Right now, hundreds of residents in this region have been dealing with power outages. Both Hydro One and Hydro Ottawa say high winds are knocking people off the grid and that crews are working to restore it as soon as possible. And as we were refreshing both websites, a number of homes and businesses without electricity were going down fast. Good evening. We begin tonight with a major move by the provincial government. The Skills Development Fund scandal has had the opposition putting Ford's government in the hot seat for weeks. But now the ruling party is going after the company, compromising the confidence of the legislature, launching a lawsuit for more than $25 million against them. CTV's Siobhan Morris has the details.
The Ford government wants $27 million from Keel Digital Solutions. For 3 years, funding flowed from the Ministry of Colleges and Universities for an online program to offer mental health support to students. The government now accuses the company of deceit and obstruction, of inflating the number of help sessions to drive up its payout. In a filing with Ontario's Superior Court, the government writes, the false reports caused the Crown to pay the corporate defendants millions of dollars that they otherwise would not have been paid. The government's claims haven't been tested in court. Last month, the OPP's anti-rackets branch launched an investigation into this. Keel has denied wrongdoing and says a counterclaim is coming. In a statement, their COO calls the government suit deeply flawed, built on misstatements and outright inaccuracies, stressing that Keel Digital has never been involved in any fraudulent activity, and they fully expect the government to be compelled to retract its claims, apologize, and answer for the recklessness and malice that drove this case. This suit puts the spotlight back on the Minister of Labour and the $2.5 billion Skills Development Fund.
Speaker, we don't need anyone on this side of the House to tell us to support our first responders, to support their training, to support their mental health.
Puccini's admitted to boosting Keel's low-scoring application for cash. The suit makes clear the money went out the door after a deep dive into the company's billing had begun.
It doesn't make a lot of sense for one ministry to issue or to launch an audit into a company and then for another ministry to give them $7 million. That's either incompetence or corruption.
Puccini's rinkside outing and a trip to Paris to spend time with Keel-connected friends have been under scrutiny. The Premier said this week he has no plans to move his minister.
With any program that large, there's going to be tweaks, and that's what we're going to do. And do I have confidence in David Puccini? Yes, I do.
Baffling to the Liberals.
How can the minister still be there? The minister's still there because the Premier is actively engaged, and his government, in covering this up.
Puccini is under investigation by Ontario's Integrity Commissioner, checking if he broke any ethics rules in awarding taxpayer funds. At Queen's Park, Siobhan Morris, CTV News.
If you want to catch up and watch the other reports leading up to this one, just go to our website, ctvnewsottawa.ca. Here's a live look through our Centennial Glass Sky Cam. It is 3 degrees out there right now, and that's above the freezing mark. Jackie Pears is here with more of what you can expect.
Well, the rain has really cleared most of eastern Ontario for the overnight. We're in for some sunny skies for most of our Saturday, but then the evening, we can anticipate some snow moving through. More on that in just a bit. Overnight temperatures -3, cloudy skies, winds about 15 kilometers per hour, and then tomorrow we're getting to a daytime high of -1. So we did mention the return of snow on the way, anticipating between 5 to 10 millimeters, or centimeters, I should say. We will have those details in a bit.
Thank you, Jackie. And with the big melt underway in the capital, things are slushy and raining on a parade of winter activities. CTV's Josh Morano has more on the canal closing and how residents are feeling about the temporary warm-up.
A walk along the canal pathway was not the original plan for Eric Emery on a January afternoon.
We're not really winter people, but I like to ski and I like to skate on the canal. And when it's like this, it's not a lot to do other than walking, right?
While Emery says he'd like to be skating, unseasonably warm temperatures and periods of rain on Friday forced the NCC to temporarily close the skateway.
I think it's good that they close it right away when we get the warm weather so the ice doesn't get ruined. Last night I was out and I saw hundreds and hundreds of people skating in the evening, so that was good. People were enjoying it right to the end.
Better than 2 years ago, and it didn't open at all.
With temperatures in the mid to upper single digits, the NCC says the precautionary closure will preserve the ice surface and should allow it to quickly reopen. According to Environment Canada, this January thaw is not uncommon.
The reason for it happening really just has to do with the jet stream and the positioning of the jet stream. So when our jet stream pushes further north, that enables the storm tracks to push up further north and bring in moisture from the south, from the U.S.
It was just so sudden, and it's a bit welcome after the minus 25s we've had. I could do without the rain, though.
While the system does offer reprieve from the usual winter weather, it's not here to last, with seasonal temperatures expected to return early next week.
As that system moves out on Sunday morning, it's actually going to bring in that Arctic air that we're more accustomed to. So that's going to feel blustery. It's going to be another windy day, but it's going to be a cold wind as opposed to a warm wind that we're experiencing today.
For Emery, he's enjoying the warmer weather, but hopefully he'll see the skateway open again soon.
We'll just have to wait. I'm sure it's going to get colder again, and then the canal will be back in full operation. So I'm not worried about that.
Josh Morano, CTV News.
Meanwhile, snowbanks and parked cars are closing in on available roadways, and the lanes have narrowed to the point of feeling unsafe for one Ottawa neighborhood in particular. The number 7 bus has 4 stops along Grove Avenue in a residential area in Old Ottawa South. The street was made narrower last summer as part of a city infrastructure project. And as CTV's Kimberly Fowler reports, some bus drivers have no choice but to jump the curb to get through.
Nick Debrat's daily dog walk this time of year can be dicey, but says this winter things are worse.
I have seen buses come up on the sidewalk, especially when there's big snowbanks or cars parked.
The number 7 bus travels down Grove Avenue. Residents say recent infrastructure upgrades have made the street too narrow.
I think there are also parking issues as well. Again, when there's snowbanks, then traffic has more trouble getting by.
They say that's forcing buses to drive on the sidewalk, especially when there are snowbanks and parked cars.
Sometimes you see the tracks on the side, like if there's snow, you will see like large tire tracks on the sidewalk.
Roads in this neighborhood were wider before the city wrapped up construction last summer and installed traffic calming measures.
In order to slow down traffic, they decided to widen the sidewalks, but I'm just wondering if they considered how narrow the roads in the central neighborhoods are anyway.
And now some drivers also get stuck behind delivery trucks.
No, we can't get through.
The narrowing of this section of Grove Avenue is a result of much needed construction to replace over 100-year infrastructure, including the water main underground. OC Transpo says it's aware of the challenges, saying in a statement, our team is engaged with our colleagues in other city departments to discuss options to ensure buses can operate safely and efficiently. Until then, residents are hoping something more serious doesn't happen to their neighbors.
Just glad nobody was there on the sidewalk. I mean, they weren't going very fast. You can tell they're being careful, but obviously traffic shouldn't have to go on sidewalks.
Kimberly Fowler, CTV News.
In other news, an Ottawa elementary school teacher is facing charges for allegedly possessing and distributing child sexual abuse and exploitation materials. Police arrested and charged 39-year-old Stephen Patrick Ruth yesterday. Investigators say he used the usernames Steve Ruth, Mr. Ruthio, and Mrs. Ruthio 86. He was listed on the staff directory for Blossom Park Public School. The Ottawa Carleton District School Board says he was placed on leave as soon as it was made aware of the charges. Also, Ottawa police stopped a 13-year-old who was driving a car on a busy Barhaven Road. The young teen was pulled over yesterday morning for driving too slowly on Strandherd Drive. Police say there were 2 other passengers around the same age and that they said they were driving to get candy from a gas station. It goes without saying, but parents were called right away. Meanwhile, young people in this country are having the toughest time finding work. New numbers came out today about Canada's unemployment rate, and it ticked up last month. CTV's Kimberly Johnson has more.
I don't see myself quitting under any circumstances because I don't think that there's another job waiting around the corner right now.
Israel Thomas says that she's holding on to her part-time job even as she graduates and looks for a job in her field later this year.
It's a bit scary. I won't go as far as say like hopeless, but like it's intimidating. I don't know anybody who'd be willing to quit their job like if they had a bad job right now.
Canada's national unemployment rate sitting at 6.8%, even as the economy added jobs. In Ottawa, that's up higher at 7.4%, up from 7.3%.
I have a feeling we're like in a quiet market right now, and the only way you're going to get a job real easily is if you have a way in. If you have little to no connections, I find that it might be a little harder.
There's more competition now for jobs that would traditionally be pursued by younger people.
I think where the win was, and I think where the issue is with youth employment, is the fact that there were a lot more part-time jobs available in retail, but there were a lot more people chasing those jobs, right? So it wasn't just youth who usually, are one of the main sectors that go after these types of jobs.
The StatsCan data shows that the youth job market is taking a strong hit, 13.3% in December, after seeing job gains in October and November.
I am looking for a co-op position, and it's looking pretty scarce at the moment, so it's definitely going to be a bit of a fight for a job this summer.
These Carleton University students say that they're hoping for federal government roles in their field at a time of tough competition.
Quite stressful, a little anxiety-inducing, pretty unknown what's going to happen, so kind of just hoping for the best.
It's intimidating, but I try to keep in mind that unemployment tends to be cyclical, so I hope that there will be a natural come up along with my hard work.
Kimberly Johnson, CTV News.
Before we take a break, the Ottawa Charge pulled off their 5th consecutive win.
Comes Shohina. She fires it on net.
It was a home game for Ottawa with fans flooding into the arena at TD Place. Ottawa Charge beating the Vancouver Golden Eyes and skated their way to victory. Final score 4-2 for Ottawa. Congrats.
There's an affordability challenge for Canadians right now. There's less discretionary spending. So less discretionary spending means pulling back on restaurant spending.
Coming up, an outlook for Canadian restaurants that's hard to digest. Stay with us.
You're watching CTV News at 11:30 with Stefan Keys.
Welcome back. Taking a live look at the Queensway right now. Roads still looking fairly slick out there. Just a reminder to drive for the conditions. And here's Jackie with a closer look at the forecast.
Well, we had some strong wind gusts moving through our Friday evening, but this is tapering off for our Saturday. We are getting to a daytime high of -1, mainly cloudy skies, but we did mention the word snow. It is on the way for Saturday evening, and parts of the area could see some freezing rain, including Kingston, where it will mainly be freezing rain. The snow will be picking up for Brockville, Pembroke, as well as here in Ottawa around the midnight hour and moving through early Sunday morning. It should clear by the time you wake up, so you will likely be digging yourself out of some snow for your Sunday. Tonight's lows, though, -6 here in Ottawa, -4 to 7 really across eastern Ontario. Dry, partly cloudy skies will be in the forecast. And then tomorrow's highs, mainly sunny sky. 0 for here in Ottawa, 1 degree really throughout eastern Ontario, -1 along the valley. As we look towards our 7-day forecast, you can see that we are still sitting above seasonal for most of our weekend. The chance of flurries will still be lingering for our Sunday, but we will maintain temperatures hovering around the freezing mark. That overnight low Sunday into Monday, -13, so the chillier conditions are making its way back here to the capital. -4 the daytime high for Monday. A bit of a break for Tuesday. Cloudy skies, -1 the daytime high, but by next Thursday, Friday, we will be back to those frigid conditions, -12 for that daytime high and -double digits for the overnight lows. Stefan.
Thanks, Jackie. With all the rain today, the City of Ottawa is asking for residents to help out and make sure catch basins are not blocked by snow, ice, or other debris. Blocked catch basins can slow and prevent melting water and rain from draining properly, that is, and that can lead to pooling. The city says its crews are out clearing catch basins, but with more than 100,000 of them across the capital, help from residents can go a long way. Canada's restaurant industry is under stress amid inflation and rising food prices. While the sector rebounded after the pandemic, thousands are expected to go out of business this year. CTV's Pat Foran tells us why.
Yeah, it looks better for you.
When it comes to spending money in restaurants, more people say they're trying to watch their finances and eat at home.
Definitely, yeah. We have been watching how much we're spending on eating out at restaurants.
I will try to go to fewer restaurants this year, I think, just given the prices.
Prices has gone up a lot.
In the last couple of years, it's been extremely difficult for restaurants in general.
According to a study from Dalhousie University, last year in Canada, 7,000 restaurants closed and went out of business. The university is now projecting another 4,000 restaurants will shut their doors this year. Sylvain Charlebois says consumers are becoming more frugal with their food budgets.
If they do dine out, they'll dine in at home, order in, or get food delivered to avoid the tips, to avoid the expensive bottle of wine and things like that.
Along with rising food prices and inflation, Restaurants Canada also blames increasing costs for rent, insurance, and wages. The group says 41% of restaurants are operating at a loss or barely breaking even, but they're trying to keep their prices low because they know customers are watching their budgets.
There's an affordability challenge for Canadians right now. There's less discretionary spending. So less discretionary spending means pulling back on restaurant spending.
Last year, when there was a 2-month tax break on restaurant meals, prepared foods, snacks, and some alcoholic beverages, restaurants saw an increase in sales of 10%. Restaurant Canada says the tax break should be brought back and made permanent.
Let's remove GST off of food. Why are we taxing food? We just think that is a poor public policy.
Charlebois agrees.
I would say we need to eliminate all taxes on food, no matter where it's consumed.
Another reason restaurant sales are down is Canadians are drinking less, and alcohol sales are a profitable category for the hospitality industry. Pat Foran, CTV News.
For a long time, these populations were being underserved.
Coming up, a clinic on wheels now serving Kemptville. Full details on the move to use a mobile unit to help those struggling with mental health and addictions. This week, a new mobile unit opened its doors in the parking lot of the Kemptville District Hospital, and those working in the addiction sector say it will save lives. Here's CTV's Natalie Van Roy.
You'd never know from the outside the crucial work happening at this small, nondescript trailer. But inside this mobile heart hub, potential lifesavers, a social worker and medical staff available for those in crisis and housing support.
It's quite imperative that we have these at our hospital and specifically to the community that we're serving. For a long time, these populations were being underserved.
This heart hub outside the Kemptville District Hospital Monday to Friday will also help connect residents with addiction services.
The heart hubs themselves are a new provincial model of care to help individuals that are seeking support for substance use and housing related issues.
Rural areas are not exempt from issues of addiction and homelessness. Experts are hoping this service fills the gap and provides an alternative to the emergency room.
We see approximately 200 plus patients a year with mental health issues, including substance use issues.
Inside, you find naloxone, connections to mental health support, and other medical necessities.
They have beds in there, they have a confidential space. It's actually even tall enough that you can stand in there. So it's quite a wonderful resource in that regards. But it's not just limited to actually going into the van.
Patients who come here don't have to be referred. They also don't need OHIP, a way to remove barriers for those most in need.
It means a tremendous amount. In general, rural communities in Eastern Ontario have been underserved in terms of the services that the Heart Hub would provide.
Natalie Van Roy, CTV News.
In more health news, Public Health Ontario is out with its first update on the spread of flu across the province after a pause over the holidays. The previous update accounted for cases up to December 13th, and it showed positivity rates around 34%, which officials consider to be very high. That figure climbed even further and appears to have peaked at around 36% the following week. Looking closer to right now, officials say flu activity continues to drop, but it's still high, with 1 in 4 tests coming back positive.
I'm so humbled to receive this award.
Still to come, celebrating an Ottawa woman that has made a big impact with a lasting legacy. More on the forensic contributions of Della Wilkinson shortly.
You're watching CTV News at 5 with Stefan Keys.
An Ottawa forensic scientist whose work shaped how fingerprint evidence is recovered and trusted in Canada is being honored. Her country now demonstrating its appreciation by appointing her to the Order of Canada. CTV's Caitlin Wilson has more on Della Wilkinson and her impressive contributions.
Is the technique I was talking about on skin.
For Della Wilkinson, the work was never about recognition.
For me, when I was at work, I was working for the victims.
As a forensic scientist with the RCMP for 25 years, Wilkinson spent her career tackling one of the toughest problems in the field: how to recover reliable evidence like fingerprints from the most challenging surfaces like human skin.
The materials in the fingerprint are the same as what exists on the surface of the skin, and that's what makes it really challenging.
But it was challenges like that which defined her career. She became a world leader in evidence recovery from contaminated environments, working with labs in the US, Australia, and the UK. That expertise became critical after the anthrax letter attacks in the United States in 2001.
And now, as a result of that work, those countries have protocols to deal with those types of exhibits.
That work would later be drawn on in major criminal investigations, including one of Canada's most notorious serial killers, Robert Pickton, who was convicted of 6 counts of murder but confessed to killing 49 women, many of them Indigenous. He was killed in prison 2 years ago.
There were buckets in a freezer that had evidence, and it was difficult because it was frozen. So we developed a strategy with our forensic identification officers. It was very collaborative.
Now, after a career advancing forensic science, Wilkinson has been appointed to the Order of Canada, one of the country's highest civilian honors. In a statement, the president of the RCMP Veterans Association says her research in the field has been shared and has benefited law agencies internationally, including the FBI. We're grateful for her abundant contributions. But Wilkinson says she couldn't have done it alone.
I think it's about partnerships. I'm so humbled to receive this award.
Caitlin Wilson, CTV News.
It's really nice to know that in one way or form we'll go down in history for doing something like this.
When we return, a uniquely Canadian full-circle moment for an Ontario couple. Love and hockey bringing these two together in holy matrimony.
The National Capital Region is jam-packed with incredible experiences you don't want to miss. Hey, I'm Sneha Taylor, your iHeartRadio Weekender, powered by Barhaven Ford. Get the inside scoop on all the biggest and best events every Thursday, Friday, and Saturday on CTV, Move 100, Pure Country 94, TSN 1200, and News Talk 580 CFRA. iHeartRadio Weekenders is powered by Barhaven Ford, Ottawa's newest and largest Ford dealership, and Ontario's #1 Ford EV dealer.
Here's another live look through our Centennial Glass Sky Cam. It is 2 degrees out there right now. And Jackie is back with a final check on weekend weather.
Well, for tomorrow morning, the winds may have calmed down, but -6 will be what we will start off with. We're warming up to about -1, or I should say the freezing mark. And the thing is, for Saturday into Sunday, we will likely see more snow moving in between 5 to 10 centimeters. So keep an eye on this for your Sunday, where we will see another daytime high of about 0. Stefan.
Thanks, Jackie. Finally for us tonight, an Ontario couple gets hitched at the center of the hockey rink.
It's really nice to know that in one way or form we'll go down in history for doing something like this.
Last spring, Sheldon Cadet popped the question to Daleen Trudell at center ice during a Windsor Spitfires game. They came full circle this week, returning to the arena to say "I do." Anyone who couldn't fit in the family and friends wedding suite bought a ticket and watched from the crowd for the big moment. That is CTV News for this Friday, January 19th. CTV News continues online anytime with our digital team keeping you up to date at ctvnewsottawa.ca. You can also watch our newscast live on the CTV News app. And for news on the go, listen to News Talk Radio 580 CFRA. For all of us here at CTV News, thank you so much for watching. Have a wonderful night and a wonderful weekend.